Hare Krishna, and welcome to this week's virtual Sunday feast here at the home of Sri Sri Kishore Kishori. We're celebrating every week virtually, so a big welcome. Thank you for joining us. Today will be a continuation, a resumption of our Brilliant as the Sun series, and it will be given by His Grace Paramatma Prabhu. But before going into that, we're going to hear Nrsimha prayers by Shresht. He's a student of Radhakund Mataji at Vamsi Vaishnav School of Music. So thank you so much for doing this offering and leading us in Kirtan, Shresht. I'll turn it over to you and spotlight as well.
Namaste Narasimhaya Praladaladaine Hiranyakashi Purvakshaha Chilatanka Nakalaye Hito Narsimo Parato Narsimo Yato Yato Yamitato Narsimo Bahira Narsimo, Hridaye Narsimo, Narasingha Sharanam Prapade, Tavakara Kamala Vare Raka, Adbhuta Shringa, Dalita Hiyanyakashipur, Tanubringa. Kesavadirta Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya Bhakta Prahlad, Jaya Bhakta Prahlad, Jaya Bhakta Prahlad, Jaya Bhakta Prahlad, Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much for leading us in that offering. Very beautiful. And just before I turn it over to tonight's speaker, Paramatma Prabhu, just a quick reminder to everyone that the temple is open with limited hours from 4:30 p.m. until 6:30 p.m. every Saturday and Sunday. No reservations are required. You can just come during those hours. Finally, continuing on the Brilliant as the Sun series, where we do a high-level overview of a chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam every Sunday. Paramatma Prabhu will be taking us through the third canto, 13th chapter. It's titled The Boar-ing God. Hare Krishna Prabhu, you're muted.
Yeah, am I audible, Prabhu?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. So, Hare Krishna to everyone. Thank you so much, Yashodanandan Prabhu and the management of the temple for giving me this opportunity to serve Kishore Kishori and all their devotees, begging at the lotus feet of Krishna and all the Vaishnavas that let me do this service for my purification, and probably it will be of some help as a service to all the Vaishnavas. Before I start, let me do the prayers and then I'll get started. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। मूखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंगायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दिनतारिणं चैतन्यं माधवं परमानन्दमीश्वरम्। So Hare Krishna to everyone. Please welcome back to today's Sunday Feast lecture. Thank you all once again. And I'm going to share my screen here in a moment, and then we will get started. 1 second. Okay, I hope the screen is visible and I am audible before I begin.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Uh, this is a title, the Boar incarnation, but the Boar-ing God. This is Varaha Avatar. Now, this title itself is very fascinating for myself personally. That anytime when we talk about God, many of the people might think about, oh God, it might not be exciting, it might not be interesting. Okay, but then the Vedic scriptures are so potent, we understand that the people are looking out in any given drama. What they generally look out, there should be a hero, it should be dramatic, it should be thrilling, suspense, crime, investigation, action, of course romance, and we have added devotion. So in this way, there are so many topics within this Srimad Bhagavatam which covers all these features. And one who finds this, they gets complete taste and get absorbed in this Vedic scriptures, especially the Srimad Bhagavatam. However, the people who might not find it, unfortunately, they may switch on a TV, go for any other spots to enjoy. But this is nothing lesser. This is much higher with a higher taste. So today I will try to discuss a very, it's, for example, this boar incarnation is elaborately discussed in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And there are around 7 chapters which completely talks about this great incarnation of Lord Krishna as Varaha avatar or boar incarnation. So I was thinking it is very hard for me to just give the tip of the iceberg, though I wanted to cover many, many things in this given limited time. uh, I have a limited uh, message as well here to go ahead and talk on this. So now in this particular chapter per se. This is a conversation. This whole Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita is a conversation between two personalities. Someone is asking with some inquisitiveness and someone else is answering. If it is Bhagavad Gita, it's Lord Krishna who is answering Arjuna's questions. And if it is Srimad Bhagavatam, there are many, many personalities. So here, this slide tells us about two great personalities, Vidura and Maitreya. Just for those who do not know, Vidura is from the Mahabharata epic, who is uncle of the great Pandavas. There was a fight between Pandavas and Kauravas, a family fight between two brothers, set of two brothers. So Vidura is the uncle of that personality and of those Pandavas, and he goes for a pilgrimage because he actually don't want to fight, because for him either this way or that way it's the same family. So on a pilgrimage he happens to meet the great personality called Maitreya Muni, who was directly instructed by Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he as well as Uddhava. Now, Vidura, this personality, when he met Maitreya, so he considers him as a spiritual master, and naturally, a Vidura's heart is full of devotion. And here we see that Vidura had a natural inclination for hearing the transcendental message of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He was never fully satisfied, though continuing to hear those topics. And the second point there, it says he wanted to hear more and more so that he could be more and more blessed by the transcendental message. Now, the very words from this statement, more and more, that means it is so soothing to the heart. It is so exciting to the mind and intelligence. It engages all the faculties, especially the subtle mind and intelligence, heart, everything is attracted. That's the reason this great personality is wanting to hear more and more and more. Okay, that is something to consider as a pure love for Krishna, pure love for the Lord. Now, in this big conversation, there is a lot of things discussed there, though we do not go into details. However, we see that um, Vidura was asking about the conversation between Lord Brahma and Manu. This is another set of conversation. Now, he was interested because Lord Brahma is a pure devotee. Generally, the devotees are highly interested to hear about Krishna. As per Bhagavad Gita, in one of the verses, it is said, Machitta Madgata Prana Bodayantaha Parasparam Katayantascha Mam Nityam Tushyanticha Pramanticha. That means a pure devotee's mind is always dwelling, heart is always dwelling onto the pastimes of Lord Shri Krishna. They talk about that personality each other and they nourish, they enjoy, they satisfy to the fullest. And because Vidura is also a devotee, he wanted to understand that how did Lord Brahma instructed his very pious, virtuous son called Manu, M-A-N-U, Manu. The word man comes from Manu in one sense, Prabhupada says. So this particular king is also a great devotee of the Lord. Now, what is understood, what is to be understanding here is a pure devotee not only wanted to hear about the Supreme Lord, he also wanted to understand the pastimes of a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord. Just like in our ISKCON, we are all excited to uh, hear the pastimes of Srila Prabhupada or his wonderful disciples who are uh, very, very inspiringly encouraging us at every step of our life, even today. Just when I think about a situation like Prabhupada's association for all the Vaishnavas at that time, probably for 10 or 12 years or 14 years, but it's past 50 years, they are still are having that zeal, their inspiration to think about Krishna, talk about Krishna, and make all of us understand the signs of Krishna consciousness. So, simply by hearing about a pure devotee, we get connected to Krishna. That is the intent behind what Vidura is trying to ask. And it is natural that, in the material world, the happiness or pleasure which we derive is limited. For example, the ISKCON bullets, which is another name, which is gulab jamun, right? If I love it, I may eat 5, 10, 20, not definitely 50, right? And I can see the music afterwards if I definitely challenge someone and eat 50. So it is obvious that this material world, when we are trying to enjoy, it is giving some sort of enjoyment, but it is limiting us. But here, the spiritual knowledge, the pastimes of the Supreme Lord are so soothing and inspiring that, as we just now thought, it is it makes a person need more and more. It's unlimited. So here, Lord Brahma is talking to his son, uh, um, Manu, and here it is. Since you are my very obedient son, I ask you something. So, with the folded hands, the son is serving the father. Actually, in our society, we understand that a father's duty is to upbring the child or his son or daughter in a proper way. And later, when they are grown up, the son's duty is to take care of the father and follow his instructions. And exactly here we are seeing this. Now, quickly to go through this, to beget the children, the instruction given is, oh, Manu, beget the children qualified like yourself in the womb of your wife. And then he says, rule the world in pursuance of the principles of devotional service unto the supreme personality of Godhead. This is very natural. you know a film actor's son, it becomes easier for the son of a cinema actor to become a cinema actor, the son of a singer to become a singer. It becomes a little easier because we have a background there. If my father is a businessman, it becomes very easy for me to become a businessman. Now Lord Brahma himself is a pure Vaishnava, he's a great devotee, and undoubtedly the son of Lord Brahma, here we see that he is also a great devotee. That's the reason here it is instruction going there. And the third point, if you give protection, proper protection to the living beings in the material world, that will be the best service for me. And this also certainly the master of the senses will be very pleased with you. Now, master of the senses is Rishikesha, the term, the name of the Supreme Lord, the another name, that is the one who is the master of all senses, Rishikesha. So Lord Brahma is instructing his wise son, who is also the king of the universe, that you are supposed to do all these things. Once he got the instruction, the story begins here. This was a little bit of, these two slides was just a background. Now he was asking to his father, oh my dear father, you are instructing me to perform all these wonderful activities. I am happy for that. However, though I shall abide by your order, he was asking, please let me know my place and that of the living entities born of me, where I should perform all these things. And then he adds one more point, which is actually a problem here. What is that? He says, O master of the demigods, that is Lord Brahma, please attempt to lift the earth, which is merged in the great water, because it is the dwelling place for all the living entities. And this can be done by your endeavor and by the mercy of the Lord. Now, that means it is, I'm not going today in a technical details what does it exactly means, but in generic, to understand the whole planetary system. Okay, all the planetary systems are on the stem of the lotus flower, which is coming from the navel of Garbhodakashai Vishnu, and everything is like a plane, and earth is on this particular place. It is merged into the water because of the partial devastation of the end of the day of Brahma. Not going into the details. Now that whole earth is now inside the waters, down beneath. Okay. Now, at this point of time, now there needs a person who can help, because he want to perform, Manu want to perform and follow the instructions. This is exactly where Lord Boar appears. Okay. Now going ahead here, Maitreya is now meditating upon, he's creating the worlds. And every time when the Lord Brahma day is over, partial devastation happens, he will sleep and then he will get up from his bed, and then he has to recreate everything what was there before in the past age, whatever Kalpa, which is called as. So now Sri Maitreya Muni is explaining to Vidura, thus seeing the earth merged in the waters, Brahma gave his attention for a long time to how it could be lifted. He thinks it is the best to let the Almighty Lord direct us. You know, even the Lord Brahma called as the creator of this universe, but there is one other personality whom he is dependent upon, that is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Not going in details, Supreme Lord is the primary creator, and Supreme Lord Krishna, and Lord Brahma is secondary creator. Now, because this is a very typical situation, the worlds where he has created, everything is floating in that particular space, but they are absolutely running around on their orbits. They do not clash one to another. Everything is perfectly maintained, and that is maintained by the Supreme Lord. Now, all of a sudden, while Lord Brahma was engaged in thinking, a small form of a boar came out of his nostril, very peculiar. The measurement of the creature was not more than the upper portion of a thumb, right? And while Brahma was observing him, that is, that he is the Supreme Lord, that boar became situated in the sky in a wonderful manifestation as gigantic as a great elephant. And it is very inconceivable for an ordinary living entity to conceive this. How can a living entity, or even a living entity, take birth from the nose? It is not possible. And what to speak about the Supreme Lord, who is coming out from the nose, nostrils. So, struck with wonder at observing this, Lord Brahma was thinking, how first of all the boar was no bigger than the tip of a thumb, and now he is as big as large as stone. His mind get disturbed for a few minutes, and then he thinks, because he's great devotee, he could understand, oh, is he the Supreme Personality of God at Vishnu? Now, Vishnu is Vishnu. The meaning of Vishnu means one who enters anything and everywhere. Okay, he's capable of entering anything. So that's where we say Lord Vishnu, when he enters in each and every atom, okay, he is Karanodakshai Vishnu, and then he enters into the heart of a living entity is Paramatma, right? So this uncommon feature of the incarnation of the Godhead can bewilder even the mind of Brahma. Then what to speak about ordinary people like us? That is where it is said it is inconceivable, right? The Lord's activities are all inconceivable. Either it is appearance or disappearance, as it is said in the Bhagavad Gita, Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tattvataha. So, Janma karma, the appearance of the Lord and the activities of the Lord are all transcendental in nature. And one who knows that, full realized, he would never ever take birth again in this material world to continue the struggle here. So the best thing what happens is he will go back home, back to Godhead. Now, having this situation here, the appearance of this gigantic incarnation of the Lord, uh, when we hear this pastime, probably a general mass public might get a certain questions like, hey, hang on, why he appears from the nostril? That could be one of the questions. Or why he takes or appears as a hog? Probably he could have appeared in a different form. Why a hog? Generally in the Vedic scriptures, we go, when we talk about a hog, it is a most lower animal, right? it's low consciousness. It eats the stool, it does all kind of nasty things, rolls into the mud and whatnot. So this is not a proper creature per se, in that sense, most degraded situation. But why Lord is appearing in that? Okay, so these are very interesting questions if someone has, and fortunately Srila Prabhupada answers all those such questions. And one may also ask uh, how the Lord is actually bringing that, or the boar form is bringing up the earth onto the original place. Okay, so all these questions, let me just go through in few minutes. How does that happens? Now, why does he appears from nostrils? That's the basic question. If we have to understand that the Lord has no material form, that is the first thing. His form is always understood in terms of the Vedas, and he is transcendental. He's never material. He's always transcendental. Now, we also hear on the other side, the Vedas are said to be the breath of the Lord, and that breath was inhaled by Lord Brahma, the original student of the Vedas. So the breathing, so the breathing from the nostril of Brahma caused the appearance of Lord Boar, and therefore Boar incarnation of the Lord is the personified Vedas. This is very interesting, right? Now he's playing like an elephant. He entered into the water after roaring again and replied to the Vedic prayers by the great devotees. Now, one may ask, okay, that is pretty much the answer which I understood in those lines of Srila Prabhupada, that this is the reason why he appears from the nostrils. It is up to him. He has full freedom to do whatever he wants to do it. We also have a free will, but it is a limited one. But the Lord has complete free will, and there is a purpose of every incarnation. There is a reason, the purpose, and everything. Now, let's try to understand why he takes the hog's form. Now, although the body of a hog is material, the hog form of the Lord is not materially contaminated at any given point of time. It is not possible for earthly hog to assume big gigantic form spreading throughout the universe. It is impossible, right? That's one of the things which we can think and understand, right? Beginning from the Satyaloka and down, if he's complete, he's so big. And the assumption of the form of a boar is only his pastime. He wanted to do this. His body is all of Vedas, transcendental. But since he had assumed the form of a boar, he began to search out the earth by smelling, just like the hog. Now, when we see hog everywhere, it smells first of all in the filthy place and tries to pick what it needs, right? Now, now one may ask why the earth planet is down, because whenever the partial annihilation happens, all these systems go beneath on the bottom of the Garbha ocean. And now by smelling, he could understand, oh, this is the earthly planet, let me pick it up. Of course, there is another technicalities, which I'm not going in detail. The Lord Varaha or boar form appears in two different millenniums for two different purposes. Okay, we are not going in detail though. Now, here we understand that the Lord has now seen the earth, okay, and then he has a means to bring that up. Now, in this wonderful picture, we see that how he brings the earth planet from the bottom of the waters, right? From the Garbhodaka ocean. So Garbha means the navel of the Lord Vishnu. Udhaka means the waters. Okay, so the waters which are on the Garbha ocean is Garbha Udhaka ocean. So dividing into the water. Now, what is he doing? Dividing this water like a giant mountain. Lord Boar divided the middle of the ocean, and two high waves appeared as arms of the ocean, which cried loudly as if praying to the Lord, O Lord of all sacrifices, please do not cut me into two. Kindly give me protection. Because it's fearsome. Ocean never knows this is something going to happen. Now, that's how his appearance is. And then what did he do? Lord Boar penetrated the water with his hooves, which were like sharp arrows, and found the limits of the ocean, although it was unlimited. He saw the earth, the resting place of all the living beings, lying as it was in the beginning of creation, and he personally lifted it. So we understand that, it is inconceivable that though Lord appears in any form, maybe it's a kurma, the tortoise form, or a narasimha, half man and half lion, in any given form, the energies of the supreme Lord are all same. It is the same personality, but for some purpose he does that activity, his pastimes. So it is only possible by the Supreme Personality to perform this kind of act. And now the Lord found the earth on the bottom of the Garbhodaka ocean, where the planets rest during the partial devastation at the end of Lord Brahma. So once the Lord found Earth planet, now he is lifting it up. And we also hear, I was just deliberating, to what details I should narrate or discuss this pastime today, because all the coming future chapters are in detail explained very wonderfully. So I'm just restricting myself to a little points here. As per the chapter 13, I'm trying to follow that. So here we see that the Supreme Lord Vishnu, whenever he is doing a pastime, he is attracting great personalities. Okay. There is one of the another side story which I just wanted to narrate, that in Satyuga there was a Brahmana with the name Vasudeva, and he was a great devotee of Lord Boar, Varahadeva, and he was worshipping so much. And once when the Lord got pleased by the devotion of that great devotee, he asked, what do you want? He says, I want to see you, your original form as Lord Boar. This is something very interesting, right? And then the Lord appears before him with this beautiful boar form. You see, this is something which is interesting. And then that is the place where he tells, oh Vasudeva, this is a place why I again incarnated before you to show my form. And this in the Kali Yuga, and this is the timeline of Satyuga. And he says, in the future Kali Yuga, which is Iron Age, which is now, in the place called Navadvip, I will be there. And this is the place which is called as Navadvip. And today it is called as Kola Dvip. The nine dvipas, the nine islands in the Navadvipa, one of the Dvipa is Kola Dvipa. That means the Lord is worshipped by so many personalities, and he fulfills the desire. It is simply, he does the pastimes to attract all the living entities, irrespective of anything. The Lord appears as Matsya so that even the fishes can get attracted, when he goes inside. Wow, what a beautiful form. And any living entity sees that form, they get perfectly deliverance. Just like in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, on the opposite side or any side, when the people were dying and they were seeing the beautiful form of Krishna, and in their heart, if they get that mood, oh Supreme Lord, you are so beautiful, they get attracted, they are delivered to the Goloka or Vaikuntha, depending on the mood of the devotee or whoever is dying. Just simply by seeing the Lord. Think about it, Antakale Narayana Smriti we talk about. So when we see the Lord or we hear about the Lord, when we think about the Lord, the result is the same. We get free from the pangs of miseries of this material world. Such is the benefit of simply either hearing or seeing the Supreme Lord or his activities. So that's where we understand how here in this particular thing, we see how Lord brings Earth planet from the depth of that ocean. Now, this is again an elaborate thing actually for all of us to deep dive in the coming chapters. But I just took one of the words, and then this is where, on a nutshell, as a summary, explains that Lord Boar fights, okay, very strongly. He is enjoying the pastimes there. Okay, you want to fight with somebody. There you go. And I was hearing one of the lectures. Prabhupada was asked actually how to understand. In those days, devotees were asking how to understand that, is the boar form is beautiful? And Srila Prabhupada laughs and says, yes, absolutely beautiful. And he tells this particular form which we are seeing on the screen. He tells you need to understand that these two hoofs on the down as legs, and with the two hands he has this club, and his face, every detail he gives to the devotees, the picture mentally, and then say you should draw it so beautifully. And the devotees did that. And this is the beautiful form of the Lord. And now here we see that Hiranyaksha, I'm not going into the details, who is Hiranyaksha, how everything happened, the story behind it, but just as a line, I just want to understand, I just want to tell that Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu are the twin brothers. Okay. And they are demons. They are going to create havoc in this world, which is already known. But in this previous life, they were the gatekeepers of Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha is the spiritual planet where Lord resides. And they were gatekeepers, and they were cursed by four sons of Lord Brahma who were trying to enter the Vaikuntha, and they both stopped them. Oh, you small children, you're not supposed to enter. So, not going into the details, finally they get the curse that because you stopped me, obstructed me from the devotion, you are going to suffer in the earthly planet or the material world. Take birth there and suffer. And the moment they opened the eyes and they understood, they actually requested to forgiveness. End of the day, they got two options: take the seven lifetimes as devotees or three lifetimes as demons. They opted three lifetimes will be quicker than seven lifetimes because they don't want to get separated from the service of Lord Vishnu. This is the beauty of a Vaishnava, pure Vaishnava. He is separation. Is something which is much more heart painful, right? So that's where these personalities accepted, and that's where Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu appear. And Hiranyaksha, Hiranya Aksha, the word, the means one who is looking gold or wealth. He is just behind it. And we can understand that whole world is today looking out for money. In one sense, if one is not really in the mode of goodness, trying to follow the Vedic scriptures, probably he might act like Hiranyakashipu or Hiranyaksha, especially Hiranyaksha here. So here Hiranyaksha is saying, sees the Lord and laughs and says, oh, an amphibious beast. See, this is the wordings he uses, addresses the Supreme Lord Boar. But the Lord knows what is to do here. The challenges of the Lord here, earth is entrusted to us. So this is the word of Hiranyaksha. He's saying, earth is entrusted to us. You cannot take it without getting hurt by me. He's challenging the Lord, right? He's challenging the Lord. So we understand Lord Boar very easily took the earth on his tusks. We see that, and got it out of the water. And thus he kept Mother Earth in a place where it is supposed to, and not getting triggered by the words of Hiranyaksha. So first of all, he made her to put in the right place. Then he said, hey, come on, let me now fight with you. Now I have a point. Then he start fighting for years together. He enjoys that wrestling with him. And then with his anger glowing like Sudarshana wheel, his anger was so strong. He immediately killed the demon, although he tried to fight with the Lord. Okay, he immediately killed. And it is just like a kick, or just with a slap of his lotus feet of Lord Hiranyaksha was killed. The Lord killed the Hiranyaksha, right? So Hiranyaksha, to kill Hiranyaksha is a moment job for him. But he just played the pastime to make us understand, convince us that he is the ultimate protector of all of us. So in finally the Lord Boar kills Hiranyaksha, and then there are so many prayers in this chapter where the sages praise them. O Supreme Lord. Many prayers. Like for example, one of the prayers is, "We are inhabitants of the most pious planets." Okay, the personalities from Janaloka, Tapaloka, or Satyaloka, they were saying. And they are saying, we got purified, oh my dear Lord, by your droplets falling upon us when you shake your body. Generally, any animal in the water, when it comes out, it shakes the body and then it splashes, the water drops. So same thing here. And even those water is exactly like Mother Ganges, because any water touched to the transcendental form of the Lord purifies everybody, right? So that is how those great personalities were praying to the Lord. That was the prayers for Lord Varahadev. And going forward, the interesting thing, while before I conclude some of the points here, the story of Boar-ing God, okay, that is Varahadeva, is not boring because it brings great auspiciousness. And here the intelligent persons should therefore hear personally and cause others to hear the descriptive narrations of the Lord's activities, for that will destroy the pangs of material existence. Out of his causeless mercy only, the Lord comes to this earth and leaves behind his merciful activities so that the devotees may derive transcendental benefit. So, in this manner, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is always reciprocating to the prayers of the devotees. Sometimes one may think that, oh Prabhu, I might not, no, my devotion, I'm not progressing. No matter we may think it, but the Lord's mercy is with all the devotees who are sincerely serving the Lord. He is always giving the protection. Even if I am performing devotion, I may think there is no progress, but how am I able to make the devotional service? If not, God has protected us every moment, right? Padam padam yat vipadam. We may get many problems in this particular path of devotion. And any problem in this world is inevitable. The three worlds are very terrible in one sense. This is a place where all odd things happens as well, not only the good things. And we see that how we should take the association of the great Vaishnavas. Now, taking an example of, initially we talked about Vidura. Vidura did not wanted to play any role in that battlefield, right? You don't want to fight with any side. And he went. And what we understand there by that activity, he is trying to take the sadhu sangha sarva shastra kai, right? Lavamatra sadhu sangha sarva siddhi hoy. What it says is, even a minute or a fraction of seconds of association of a Vaishnava is very powerful, okay, benefiting us. Now, just an example, one rotten apple can spoil the whole basket of apples. It's obvious. One rotten is there, it will immediately spoil everything else. But one fragrant flower can spread the fragrance throughout the place, whether it is forest or home or temple or anything. Think about it. So it is very important that one takes the shelter of a pure Vaishnava, Sadhu Sangha, through which one will understand how one can get out of this clutches of the sufferings. So in various pastimes, of the Lord, he makes sure that every pastime is giving some attraction to some of the devotees. One may attract for all these things, but some may attract for some of things. For example, Lord Hanuman. Okay, Lord Hanuman is attracted to Lord Sri Ramachandra, no matter whatever it is. Even when he came in the Lord Chaitanya's Leela in the pastimes of Lord Gauranga as a Murari Gupta, he was more attracted to Lord Ramachandra even in that case, right? So it depends on a devotee's mood with which he want to. Some devotees are attracted to Kurma, okay, the tortoise form, or Matsya, the fish form, or the boar form, right? So in that way, he is making a living entity attract towards him. Krishna is all attractive, and he knows, because he's sitting in the heart of everyone. He knows how he can attract everybody. So in this context, what I am learning here is Every pastime of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is helping a devotee move closer and closer and closer to Krishna. Like for example, Damodar Leela, we know that Damodar Leela every year, 1 month whole we deliberate upon it. Is the story new to us? Every year it is the same story. Prabhu, it is the same story, it is boring? No, it is not at all boring, because it gives a great nourishment to the heart of the living entity. Every time we read the Bhagavad Gita, there is a new thing, right? Every time we get something from that whole scriptures, and that makes our life completely blissful. So as I was telling in the beginning, that people are looking out for fascinating things outside, not knowing that that can be still derived here in the spiritual planet, because spiritual world is the original world, and this material world is just a reflection of it. So in this perverted reflection of the spiritual world in this material world, and we tend to struggle and suffer. As an exact one of the example which I remember, a person who is looking the reflection of a mango tree and mangoes in the water, and he thinks that reflection in the water is a true fruit, and he jumps, dives in to catch that mango, and he will be defeated. He thinks, oh, maybe I should work hard once again. He dives second time, and then he misses. Oh, where is the mango? It's not there. Third time, no. So he is repeatedly getting defeated. So the Vedic scriptures is telling us, instead of getting repeatedly defeated in this material realm, not knowing what is the truth. If one knows what is the true tree, real tree standing on the bank of the river, then probably he can climb it and pick up as many fruits as he wants unlimitedly. Here, even though despite we put so much of efforts, one is not really happy, all the temporary happiness. So in this lines we see that intelligent persons should therefore hear personally the cause and others to hear the descriptive narrations. Actually, at the end of this particular chapter, this is the verse, it is called as a falashruti. Whoever is hearing, whoever is hearing these pastimes of the Lord, they are actually getting these benefits. You see, so in the interest of everyone, I will try to open the forum in another 2 minutes for questions or something like that. So there is one shloka in the Srimad Bhagavatam which is very interestingly said. Madguna Shruti Matrena Mai Sarva Guhashaye Manogatir Avichinna Yatha Gangambhaso Ambudhau Lakshanam Bhakti Yogasya Nirgunasya Hrudahrutam Ahetukya Avyavahita Ya Bhakti Purushottame. It's a very interesting shloka again in the same third canto. Lord Kapila is saying, Madguna Shruti Matrena, that means just by hearing about the pastimes of the Lord, the qualities of the Supreme Lord, Mai Sarva Guhashe, he's sitting in the heart of every living entity, he becomes a pure devotee. You see, the pure devotion, actually the manifestation of unadulterated devotional service is exhibited when one's mind is at once attracted to hearing the transcendental name and form and qualities and everything, pastimes of the Lord. you know and just as water Ganges naturally goes down towards to merge with the ocean, in a similar way, such devotional ecstasy is produced in the heart simply by hearing this wonderful pastimes of the Lord. And uninterrupted devotional service is attained, and he flows towards the Supreme Lord, getting liberated for eternal, for good, and going back home, back to Godhead. So these pastimes of the Lord are very powerful, they are very potent, inconceivable, and it purifies all of us. As in the Srimad Bhagavatam says, Atma Ramayascha Munayo, that means even for a liberated soul, Sukadev Goswami was a liberated soul, and all the great acharyas there sitting and hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam, they were also liberated souls. Even for them, it is great soothing. Then what to speak about the personalities in the conditioned state? They will also get a great happiness by simply hearing these pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So 10 minutes left. So I'll stop here. Any questions, comments, reflections, any service?
Hare Krishna Paramatma Prabhu. Thank you so much for the really nice class and overview of the chapter. There's a question on YouTube from Dharmesh Patel who writes, how many sons did Lord Brahma have? Do you know?
There are many, I would say. That is with my limited learning and understanding, there are many. For example, Daksha, if we say he's one of the sons of Lord Brahma, again, there are so many. At least I do not have a number to answer that, sorry, but there are many. Actually, we're all in one sense the family of Lord Brahma. He created everybody, if that helps.
We'll have to assume it did. All right. And just encouraging anyone on Zoom or YouTube, any other questions or comments to please share them. In the meantime, I guess, Prabhu, if you could, I guess, speak a little bit more, like there was an interesting point that you raised just about how every form of the Lord is there to attract, I guess, different kinds of individuals. And so you mentioned specifically about like the Matsya avatar, and here he is as Lord Varahadev. So just curious if you could expand on that point, because it's really fascinating that you were also talking about how the boar is, from a material perspective, a very lowly creature, not prone to going to very nice places. And just the fact that Krishna would come in that form is pretty amazing.
Yes, Prabhu, it is really very amazing. When I was reading the lines from Srila Prabhupada's purports, he at one place, I don't remember the exact reference, he says, especially with the Matsya avatar, he was explaining, and he says, the moment as a fish, he is protecting the Vedic scriptures, right? Matsya avatar. And at that point of time, there are so many other living entities inside the water who would be watching them. Everybody is given eyes and they see this beautiful form of the Lord. And it is very natural that there is a opposite sex attraction, right? So either it is a fish, a male fish, female fish, male dog, female dog, or anything in this world, everything has an attraction. And when they seek the form of the Lord in that particular way, either it is kurma, that is tortoise, or any particular form, there are set of living entities he has planned out to attract them. And if they are attracted, they get the benefit of getting delivered, or getting delivered from, at least from the clutches of those animalistic lives, and they may get human birth. We cannot comment on that anyway, but it is up to the Lord and that jiva, the living entity, what is their relation and how does that work out, and they get liberated. And I really liked that line when I read it, especially from Srila Prabhupada. He's saying every form of the Lord is meant to attract the living entities. Oh, if you're not attracted this way, I'll come other way. Oh, you're not attracted that way, I'll come other way. He's having innumerable number of avatars, which we know from Srimad Bhagavatam. That's how I understand Prabhu.
Wow, thank you so much for expanding on that point, Prabhu. And not seeing any other questions coming in the chat. So I don't know, like I know you gave your key lesson and summary, what you would like us to walk away with. So if there was anything else that you wanted to add, otherwise we'll end a couple of minutes early, as you like.
Uh, the only thing what I can add is, Prabhu, I really see that these Vedic scriptures and all these things are helping us to go near and near to Krishna, and especially the model which you started, every week, one of the chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam. I think this is awesome and wonderful that everyone is getting some glimpse. There are many people. Yeah, I should say I have also not read whole Bhagavatam. So how can I get a glimpse? Oh, join ISKCON Chicago YouTube channel or whatever. And then they can hear every chapter, at least the glimpse. What a wonderful service. I appreciate you that for that, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. And, grateful to you for presenting this. And it's really nice as well not only do we get insight every week into different chapters of the Srimad Bhagavatam, but also different devotees' unique perspectives and realizations based on those chapters. So it's double whammy. It's really nice.
Thank you, Prabhu. It's all wonderful. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, I would say.
Jai. All right. Hare Krishna, everyone. This concludes the Sunday feast. Please join us next week. We will hear from His Grace Deva Madhava Prabhu, who will be speaking on the third canto, 14th chapter. Hare Krishna.